Good morning. Terms, concepts, and their use in sociology. This is the second chapter of the book Introducing Sociology. All this while, I didn't teach through PPT, but since you people don't have the books, we'll start with the. I'll get prepare all the lessons in PPT so that the content is also clear to you. Now the topics till now which have been covered of this chapter, they are as follows. First is importance of terminology in sociology. This we have done. Topics means the importance of terms. In sociology we have different terms. So this is the importance of terminology in sociology is done. Then we have also done how the views of Karl Marx and Emil Durkheim they differ from each other regarding their understanding of society. The next topic which we have covered is social group. What is social group? We also know the characteristics of social group, types of social group, what's an aggregate. We have learnt what is quasi group. We have learnt what is primary group and secondary group. Then what is community and society, in group and out group, reference group and peer group. So these are types of social group which we have done in this chapter. Next topic, I hope you remember we have covered slavery. So slavery is one system of stratification. Next is estate, caste, class. In the last video we had discussed what is status, what is role, and today we'll do society and social control, the last topic of the chapter, and then we'll get back to the revision of the entire chapter. After that we'll do the question answers, and like this only through PPT so that the content is in front of you. So social control. Now see, social control, you can see in the picture here, law is written, custom, moral code. So these are all ways of controlling an individual in society. We are actually free in society, but we are still controlled. We cannot do anything whatever comes to our mind in society. I'm sure you can relate to it. If you want to stay late out at night, if you want to just wear anything, you want to do anything, you want to get up anytime, but you still are controlled not by your parents only, but by your relatives, by police, by law, by basic norms and all. So an individual is not suspended freely in society. He is controlled informally or formally. That is social control. Like another example, in this lockdown because of corona, could anyone just move out and do anything? No, we had to follow government rules. So we are socially controlled. Now social control, we can say it refers to the various means used just does anything, an unruly person in the society, indisciplined, or who does not want to follow all the norms and all is doing anything. So if imagine if all individuals in society want to do various different things and don't want to do the same thing anytime, so there'll not be a social order in society. There'll be total chaos, confusion in society. So that is why social control is important. So social control refers to various means used by society to bring its recalcitrant or unruly members back into line. It is the social process, techniques and strategies by which behaviors of individual or a group are regulated in a society. Now, it can be the use of force. Either social control can be done with the help of force to regulate the behavior of the individuals, or enforcement of values in the individual to maintain order in society. So, like if I want a particular person, imagine in the class you're sitting. So, if everyone's expected to study in the class during the class hours, and someone wants to just move out, wander around, so that person is controlled. How? Either the teacher will explain the person that you need to study. That means if the teacher is explaining, that is called enforcement of values in the individual. Or the other method to regulate the behavior of that child is to inform the higher authorities about the misbehavior of the student. So this can be done with the social control can be accomplished with the help of force or by enforcement of values in the individual. We can also say that social control is the term sociologists apply to those in the society. A certain to some certain extent social order has to be maintained, otherwise things would be chaotic, confusing, disturbing if everyone individual is left free to do anything or any group is allowed to do anything. So there are certain ways of controlling and regulating the and establishing the social system. It refers to all the ways and means by which society enforces conformity to its norms. Means there are different techniques, different ways, different methods by which society tries that all the people in the society follow uniformity, they conform to the norms. The individual internalizes social norms and these become part of his personality. We as individuals in the society, we tend to follow social norms. Norms is rules of behavior followed in society. Norms, example of norm I'll give you is like if when you're talking to the elders, you talk in a respectful way, you behave in a certain way, you sit in a certain way. So that is the social norm of the society, that we respect the elders. Another example of a social norm is like norms related to marriage, studying in school, norms as students, as parents. So the individual internalizes social norms and then those norms gradually become part of his personality only. Now, means of social control. Means ways of social control. Formal means are there. Social control. Now, formal is codified, systematic. Other formal mechanism of control is used. It is known as formal social control. So, formal means formal like law, police, policies which are made and we have to follow them. So they are formal means of social control. There are agencies and mechanisms formal social control. For example, law and state means government. In a modern society, formal mechanisms and agencies of social control are emphasized. Means in contemporary societies, present societies, social controls, formal means are emphasized. More stress is laid on the formal means of controlling the groups and individuals in society, or the formal means of social control is emphasized these days more. Informal means are also there. Informal, see, I'll give you again an example. For example, suppose we in our society still follow caste system to a great extent. Now, if someone's family marries outside the caste or does not believe in that endogamous marriage, and if a family marries in a caste outside other caste, okay, so the other members of the same caste will boycott that family. Boycotting the same caste family because of that family marrying into another caste, that is an example of an informal mean of social control. Okay, so informally they're trying to control our our wishes to marry into another caste. Another example I can give you: suppose a family is there and the in your words, live her life or wear anything, go out anytime, come back late night or something. So the that family will not have problem, but the other families around that family will then maybe try and pressurize the family, give them moral lessons of treating a girl child, or they might make faces. So all this is example of a informal social control. Now look here, in every society there is another type of social control that is known as informal social control. It is personal, unofficial and uncodified. You should know the difference between formal means of social control and the informal. So formal is codified, this is not codified. Formal is systematic, informal is not systematic. Formal is not personal, informal means of social control is personal. Informal example they've given here is, it includes smile, making faces, body language, frowns, criticism, ridicule, laughter. There can be great variation in their use within the same society. Means every society can devise their own ways of controlling people, or using the ways in different ways to different people. So every society uses informal means of social control in their own ways. In day to day life they are quite effective. I'm sure you'll agree with this. In day to day life, we don't feel free. We have to work in accordance with what will look nice in the society, what will not look nice. We, somewhere at the back of our mind, we have this in our mind that this is not correct according to society. We should not be doing this, we should not be doing that. So we are actually being controlled, informally being controlled. However, in some cases, informal methods of social control may not be adequate in enforcing conformity or obedience. So, in some societies, informal means are not enough, so that is why formal means are also followed. Formal means of controlling people. Now, a person, so okay, before that, impact of social control. Impact means effect. Now, social control can be positive or negative through sanction. Now, understand what is a sanction. Sanction is a mode of reward or punishment that reinforces socially expected forms of behavior. Now, suppose this again an example. Suppose no, it's not written anywhere that a student is supposed to get 60 and above or supposed to pass with flying colors or with good colors. But if in your society you excel or you top the class, then what are you given? You are given positive reinforcement. You are rewarded. So that means that is called sanction. That reward is called sanction. Maybe your parents will buy a iPhone for you, or give you anything whatever you have been long wishing for. So that mode of reward is called a sanction. Clear? So sanction can be positive or negative also. It means it can be a punishment also. Sanction can be a punishment also. Another example, suppose a girl is not studying or a boy is not studying at all, not paying attention, not wishing to work hard in the school. So the parents might get angry. They would want that negative reinforcement or punishment, that is called sanction. So again, this sanction definition you can see, sanction is a mode of reward or punishment that reinforces socially expected forms of behavior. Members of society can be rewarded for good and expected behavior, and on the other hand, negative sanctions can be used to enforce rules and to restrain deviance. Restrain means control. Deviance means negative sanctions are used to not let a person deviate from the normal social norms. Now, deviance is another term. Deviance refers to modes of action which do not conform to the norms of values held by most members of a group or society. what is regarded as deviant is widely variable as the norms and values that distinguish different cultures and subcultures. Likewise, ideas of deviance are challenged and changed from one period to another. Now, deviance. A person, you will be called a person, not you. Imagine, we'll just take an example of a third person. A third person or any person would be called a deviant if he's deviating. Deviating means not following the same path or the same straight way which others in the society are following. So he'll be called a deviant, or he's not doing the same thing as which is socially accepted. If he's not doing that, then he'll be called a deviant, and we'll say he's deviating, and that process is called deviance. Clear? Seeing this picture, this image. Okay, first see an example here which I've given. A woman choosing to become an astronaut may be considered deviant at one time and may be applauded at another time. So they are saying that the idea of deviance, it can differ from one society to the other. Example of this is, in one society it might be considered prestigious or a matter of pride when a girl decides to join army, or when a girl decides to join a job where she's supposed to stay late night for the job and all. So in one society it might be considered normal and might not be an example of a social deviance, but in another orthodox conservative society it might be a matter of deviating. So that's how we can say that deviance, the idea of deviance varies or differs from one society to the other. Clear? And um, from time to time also it can vary. What might seem right today, if we look back 20 years back or 10 years back, we might see that the same thing was not correct at that time. Like our thoughts, our ways of looking at social processes, at things around us change with time also. So the idea of deviance varies, changes, or differs across time period also. Then you see this image. In the image you can see all the blue figures. They are all following the same straight way, and this orange one, he is not confirming or not. So what we'll do is, the second chapter is over. I will revise the whole chapter because I've done the explanation of the previous topics, but still again we'll revise with the help of PPT so that you get to see also what is the content of the second chapter. After that we'll discuss the question answers, and then again we'll go back to the first chapter because the content of that is also, you've not seen the content. So that first chapter again we'll do with the help of PPT. Hope it's clear. If nothing is understood or some doubt, you can always contact me on my number. If you want to call, please call on 9687656453. If you want to WhatsApp, I am a part of the group. You can WhatsApp on the same number, 453 number, or you can WhatsApp on 759772132. Okay? Have a nice day.